entrepreneurship is a journey. It's not a destination, and which
Yes.
never finishes. You
Right.
can always keep improving and always keep learning.
So you mentioned earlier the quote. I think it goes somewhere along the lines of you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yes,
Where does that leave us? That leaves us with just take the shot. And if you
pretty
miss,
much,
learn
pretty
from
much.
yeah, learn from your missed shot, calibrate, know
Yeah.
how
And
you have
it's not like I've had, I mean, I would like to talk a bit more about my failures. It's like, I've had failures as well. I've had startup type projects that I've done and they haven't succeeded. I was trying to make a platform for photographers and in between my two exits at one stage, and that didn't succeed. But that's fine. That taught me a lot of things on how to
Mhm.
build my next
Yeah.
startup, and I would miss out on all that education if I didn't do that.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's like, it's fine, build your own project, or build your MVP, a minimum viable product. It's okay if it doesn't succeed. You will be learning from it. It
Yeah.
is an education which is much more valuable than any university education,
Right.
and the lessons from it are lifelong that you
Mhm.
can apply in the next. And entrepreneurship is a journey. It's not a destination, and which
Yes.
never finishes. You
Right.
can always keep improving and always keep learning.
Yeah. It's an infinite game.
It is pretty much an infinite game. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It is funny because one of the things that I always tell my people who work with me at SEO Hackers, so we have 50 people working with us here in house. We're aged 20 to 31. I'm 31. I'm the oldest guy in the team. I always tell them that this is your university and I am paying your tuition fee. I'm your sponsor. You're my scholars. Make mistakes, no problem. Two mistakes I don't like: repeated mistakes and fatal mistakes. Fatal mistakes is when you lose a client. That's fatal because that's going to be, punching our bottom line. And repeated mistakes, why I don't like them, is they lead to fatal mistakes. And the more times you repeat them, the more expensive they get. So
Yes.
the same with entrepreneurship, right? So we are in our own university. We are our own sponsors. We're paying for our own tuition fees. And the more times we fail, the more times we should learn. Because if we keep on repeating our failures, it's going to get more expensive and then it's going to lead to a fatal mistake. And so you are a master of learning from failure already. What are some of the things, if you can give someone advice, someone who's afraid to fail, what is your advice to that guy or that lady? She's telling you, Sam, I hear you, but, school has taught me that I shouldn't fail or I'm going to repeat another year. And what is your advice to that kind of person who's just so afraid to try and fail that they wouldn't try 100%?
Yes, I know the system in the Asian countries since I studied there as well. And one of the reason why we fear so much is because, even more so than repeating the year, what we are really worried about is our own insecurities. And we are worried about, what would people say? What would people think? What would people think of my parents? What were my parents or family and friends think of me? So that plays a huge role in how people act, and that leads to all sorts of risk aversion behavior. Whereas entrepreneurship by its own very nature is accepting the risks
Mhm.
and moving ahead regardless. So one of the thing is to realize that, why is to introspect your own self. Why am I really afraid to fail? Is it really is it because I care so much about what people are going to say about me and how people are going to perceive me? Or am I going to choose to not care about what they say? I'm going to be happy about that I learned from these things, or I would have missed out on this experience if I didn't pursue this new path, kind of thing.
Mhm.
So, yeah. that would
So
be my sort of advice.
that's awesome. So let's frame it when where we are today. And this is gonna be a COVID episode, right? This is gonna be a lockdown episode.
Absolutely.
So, like, there are just so many things to try and learn. Now that we're locked down at home, there's so many people not doing anything. There are so many opportunities because everyone's online. If you want to do a certain project that you're going to be putting on the internet, this is the time to do it. What are some of the things that you could tell people to just get off their asses, turn off that Netflix, and just start doing something with their lives, starting up something, a project on the internet? What's one big advice that you can give them?
I have been, and same with you. You have been fortunate. Like we are fortunate that we are doing what we love, and it just so happens that what we love has aligned with our career.
Yeah.
Whereas for a lot of people, they are still searching or they are doing things just because they think they can make a quick buck on the internet. But
Yeah.
I would highly recommend them to look at two things. One is what they are good at, and one what they are passionate at. Because when those two things align, then you can create really extraordinary results. That's what I believe. So look at those two things. I would highly recommend people. It's like, I'm really passionate about gymnastics, but I'm not a 16-year-old girl. So it doesn't matter. So you have to also look at what you are good at. So I would recommend people to look at what they're good at. If they have an innate ability for something, whether it's coding or design or whatever it might be that they can do online, and then go and learn. What I would do is I'll send you a link to free courses. There's a link to 650 courses, everything from
Wow.
HTML to Python to artificial intelligence to every sort of online skill you can think of. You can share it with your
Sure. I'll put it on the show
audience.
notes.
It's nothing to do with me. It's just because I was mentoring over the next month at different hackathons online. So I was just giving these resources to different students and staff to learn for free. So there's now all of you have got time. So first find what you're passionate about and what you're good at, and then go and pursue and learn in those directions and become the best you can be in that sort of the area or in that niche. So yeah, that's what I would highly recommend.
Awesome. So, folks, I'm going to be putting that link to the 650 things that you can learn on the show notes. You have to go to leadershipstack.com/podcast. It's going to be in this episode's show notes, so you can just click from the show notes and you'll be taken there directly. So, the follow-up question there, Sam, which has always been asked me whenever I speak on stage and I talk about passion, is how do you know what your passion is? How do you find out what you're passionate about? That's always the follow-up question for me.
Very
always.
Tough question. Because I never had to even think about it. So maybe that is one of the things. You don't even have to think about it. It is something that, when you are doing, you don't even look at time. You don't even think about going and getting up for a meal. You have to put a reminder to go and have lunch or dinner or whatever. You get so engrossed in that activity. It could be like, I don't know, when you're playing
Computer
sometimes
games.
a video game or something, and you get so engrossed that you lose you lose the concept of time, in fact. So it's something like that. It's like need to find that for you when you are talking with your students or your team. You wouldn't be thinking about at that time of going out for a meal at McDonald's or wherever, So it's when you feel like that, then you have found your passion.
Right. Awesome. That's super awesome. Thank you, Sam, for your time. Thank you for letting us know some of the hardest questions that I threw your way. You have answered it from your experience. We would want nothing more. So just last two questions. What is something new that you're working on right now, and where can people find you?
Okay, so people can find me on LinkedIn. Just search for Sam Kamani, or I'll send you a link. So you can find me on LinkedIn. I regularly post. I am on other platforms, but I don't post, or I don't frequent a lot of the other platforms. Or you can find me on Product Done. Apart from Product Done is what I do full time. However, I am also working on my own fintech gaming product. I'm building something which is like esports for trading and investments. It is coming soon. I will send you a link to that as well. You can keep an eye on it. It's called Insider, or insider.com. So yeah, so that's about it.
Insider.com.
Yes.
It's awesome. All right, so LinkedIn, guys, please type in Sam Kamani. That's SamKamani. You can find him on LinkedIn. You can connect with him there. Ask him your questions. He has super awesome insights. He lives in New Zealand. He is from India. And he has been rejected 500 times, but is now a serial entrepreneur, an author, a speaker. Talk about resilience. Talk about getting up. Talk about learning from failures. Well, we did learn today from Sam, and we are better for it. Thank you, Sam, for your time.
No, thank you. And best of luck to everyone listening.